A very common problem we have in service and receiving is the choice of a serve and the choice of receiving. Let's start with the choice of a serve. Right? When we're looking at the opponent, so I will play now the role of the opponent, and I will take different starting position. The starting position is one of the biggest things that we would consider because according to the opponent, we'll choose where to serve. So for example, if I take a starting position and I commonly put the arm on the side like I do right now, what I'm communicating that if the opponent is exactly where the camera is right now, it serves in, you can see everything on my left shoulder, my chest is open. Right? And what I mean by open is that if the serve comes with a good quality, everything I'll be forced to swing, and that makes the shuttle very close to my position, right? In that single position, I'm becoming easier to anticipate. Even if I'm really good in changing the grips, which could be a problem, I would be easier to anticipate what I would return or if my quality of return is good enough. So in this case, if my position of the legs is all properly, distributed, everything is fine, and I put the arm on the side, the common situation is, can I attack the serve? Can I attack maybe even the shoulder if it's really close? I won't really look that much to attack the wrist. There has to be a specific reason. I'm really good at specific receive, or my receiving or service is not good enough. But if I look at that, I'm already exposed with that. Now, the other position that is very, very vulnerable, if my position is here, is the T-point. And a faster flat push or even a flick, it will be very dangerous because I need a much bigger swing to get there. Immediately everything on my literal left side becomes very fast. So if it was me serving, I would utilize my push very fast flick and the T-point a lot if I see somebody receiving like this, right? Now, the next possible situation is when somebody puts and has a more forehand grip. This is very common in many countries, and that means, so what is the position? I'm doing this because I want to hit preliminarily on the forehand side. So if I know this, where is the limitation? I know that from the grip on the right side, everything is easier to hit because it's naturally my forehand. And everything here is a little bit not that easier to hit. So if I hit that position, I would try to estimate where is the weakest points for that and what can I know. So for example, if I serve and I know that here the opening will be like this, or I will swing even like that, that immediately would mean that I can predict where the next push would be or the next stroke. Yes, the opponent could hit it, but there is a much limited choices here or even here compared to what I have here. So again, start looking for those limitations in order to anticipate how I'm going to move after the serve. The next, of course, possibilities is if I have mainly the backhand. So instead of having the forehand, I now go to almost full thumb backhand grip, and I'm doing it. Now, where the problem is, everything here is very fast to swing, but I will be challenged if I have to open here. So if I go to the forehand side, I would tend to actually receive mainly to a backhand. I want, because it's full thumb grip, it will take me a longer time to open it and change the grip in the time I might have. So if I have the full backhand grip, I might actually start swinging and challenging that opening on the forehand. And what happens? If I go to the backhand, can I rotate it cross? Very tough. Can I still push it? Yes, but again, I'm quite more limited of what choices I can do. And if I experiment 1-2 times of pushing the opponent on that service, I would understand what is the natural preference, for example, a push or something like that. And I will see if the opponent tries to change to the forehand or tries to go to the backhand. If there is a shift to the forehand, that will also be quite limited because the time is really short. So I have to be really and look at that backswing position. Can I push straight? Yes. Can I push cross? I will have not enough time. So in this case, it will become quite straightforward to anticipate that the next stroke would come straight. Maybe push, maybe block, but I know where to move after my serve, and that's everything what I need in order to create enough pressure. In that case, sometimes the opponents or the people have very close elbow position, so they might actually have a really good balance between that, but the position is staying very close like this. Now that's quite interesting because anything that could be still here could be actually defended quite well, but if I start swinging outside for example, the wide serve, I'm not having my position to anticipate. I'm here closely, which will force me to make a bigger swing. It will still be theoretically possible, but I might have a little bit of challenge. So I would experiment immediately with wide serve in that single situation, and I would try to flick immediately. Anything in the body looks most likely quite nice. Of course, what is the optimal position, optimal starting position? We can avoid all of that. We'll argue that the legs and everything, as we've discussed previously, are covering all the flicks, and if I have a really nice relaxed position, I want the elbow to be on the side, neither too far, neither too close, and I want that the racket protects my body and my shoulders. So you can see I'm not putting it here, I'm putting it here in front of me, where the shuttle is going to go against me. Now, this is important because in the moment I put it here, I'll open everything here. So I will put it in front of me, and from that position I can swing. I personally have more preference on the backhand because I'm faster to swing and I have more choices. But of course I need to be able to open everything in here. So you can see suddenly the body serve is almost not possible. Only left is my grip serve. So you can attack me in my grip, but because it's here, can you attack my body? Can you attack my opposite shoulder? I'll argue about that. If it's a faster flicks, I could open from here directly and attack it. So the flick, the higher flick would be an option. If I'm really in good position and I can anticipate and you open the serve, I would most likely be able to anticipate that and intercept it a little bit earlier. So suddenly that position here became very, very dangerous. Now, if I'm taller or smaller, there's elements we have to consider as well. I have to be really careful where the head of the racket is. So the thumb rule is my head of the racket is slightly under the tape, right? Why? Because in the moment I start going with the right or I start going with the left, the racket naturally goes higher, right? But immediately afterwards, I need to push it down. So the risk is, if the racket is very high and the service goes very low, I would have a lot of problems of dragging it down, and this dragging down could end up me hitting the shuttle in the net, right? So I don't want that. So what is the solution? If I just a little bit on the level of the tape, and I can attack that, already this movement up is enough so I can push it or control the shuttle. But if the receiving or the service is really good, I can actually still move it or even lift it if it's necessary. So I have all the options of going higher in time and pushing, but avoiding that dragging element down. And of course, I'll never be too low, because then the swing could be also a problem backwards. This covers why we're taking that position very, very well, and also why we're holding the racket like this, not like in the backhand, neither in the forehand. And yes, we might have some preferences. If I know that I'm already really good here, I might shift it a little bit more to a backhand or a little bit more to a forehand, but this is a preference, that's a choice we need to develop in time by understanding our potential capacity and skills and so on.